Yo guys, going over learning hatching, cross hatching. Learning because I'm still learning it. I'm not like an all-knowing teacher or anything. And I set up this little diagram to kind of like catch everyone up to where I'm at. So we're going, well, I'm gonna hatch, hatch a torso, that torso, and kind of just go over like my thought process of how I think about hatching. And like I said, I'm still learning, so I do a lot of experimenting. I'll bring this up. So like right here, you could see it's like going thick to thin towards the light. This is the light. And so the hatching gets thinner. It's to sell your mind, I guess, people's minds that look at it on the idea that this is like, you know, dark to gray to light. And yeah, so this is the light. It reflects off of this thing, makes a big cast shadow. And over, yeah, I didn't darken that in, but you could darken it in like this, or you could, like, you know, make the bounce light. I did a bunch of hatching to make that look even more gray, which is like to represent the bounce light where the ground isn't shadowed, so it kind of makes a secondary light source. And then there's like, you could also do the line weight. I didn't do that on this one, I just did a line. Oh, these ones are, I handed the circles because I was too lazy to grab a template. But yeah, you could do a regular circle, or you could add line weight to the circle also. And then if you really want to go for, you could like make this super thin. I just erased that part. Let's see, and then yeah, here's the thick to thin lines. I kind of made them a little bit bigger. This is how I do it with pencil anyway. Not really an inker. Or you could do just regular thin lines and just build them up to make the, you know, dark gray to light gray. And also, you don't have to do it thick to thin going towards the light source. David Finch, I remember he really recommended that because, you know, it's simpler, it's a lot easier to understand. But like, I heard Todd McFarlane say it's basically just building grays. You know, however you get the gray, you can make it like with you know, one single line going thick to thin. You could build up a bunch of lines. You could also, like over here, this is a line, also a line going thick to thin, but it's not going towards the light source, going against it. And I think I've seen I think AT&T used to have like a symbol like that. That's kind of where I got the idea. And then here's just regular thin lines without the thick to thin part to, I don't know, yeah, it's kind of like really up to you and how much you want to experiment. All right, now that everyone's basically caught up to where I'm at when I think about hatching. Also, yeah, I was just doing a circle for hatching. You could find on YouTube, there's squares, cylinders, and then there's probably like a bunch of videos of the ones that I'm gonna do right now. But this is really my thought process of how to do it. So, and it's kind of like how much complex you want to be. Like, see these muscles kind of start breaking up a little bit if you really wanted to. Depends on how ripped you want to make the character look. So like each one of these deltoid heads, you know, you could hatch each one individually, or you could keep it more simpler, like on this side. Let's say the light source is just coming down. So just like that circle, you know, I kind of put that there, and then the lines going up towards it, the light source. I'm not doing the thick to thin, or well, not trying to, it kind of appears that way. And then yeah, you could go all the way down and just darken this up, or I could, but I was looking at a bunch of Jim Lee and a little bit of Will Spartasio, and they would always like, okay, so this part, all this stuff would, let's say, be dark, and let's say that this person is wearing like spandex, you know, like the slightly shimmery, it's not like super glossy like latex or leather or something, just like, yeah, like a spandex suit. So all this stuff would be like black basically, and then this part they would do the gray, throw the lines down, and normally they would go darker down here too, but not all the time. Like when creating shadows, I notice like in different comics, it's not always like, you know, a perfect shadow, how a shadow would react in real life to an object. Like a lot of times it's they're creating a mood, you know, so it looks cool and it's believable enough that they'll just leave it at that. Also, I guess if I were to get a little bit more detail, it'd like pop open another spot and just go ahead and gray that one out. Yeah, they would like I said, create like a mood, and especially if it was like for a panel, like to frame the object you're supposed to focus on in the panel, or that you're supposed to notice first, they could like just put like a weird shadow shape like around it to kind of like frame an object. And even though like you don't know where the shadow's coming from, it just appears kind of, but yeah, as long as it doesn't pull you out of the story, I think, you know, you could get away with whatever kind of shadowing you want. And let's see, so this side, I was going for more simple on this side. Here's another spot where it's kind of like cylinder, sphere-ish, so we could do this thing again, but on this side. Probably bring it up. No, bring it down low again. All right, so yeah, basically darken up everything under this line between these two circles here. This one goes up towards the light source. I kind of make these longer because the shape is a little longer. The curve is stretched out more than the shoulder head. And yeah, if you watch any of my older videos, you'll know that my dog's always like sleeping right next to me, or getting up and getting water, food, whatever. But yeah, so if you hear her breathing, that's or hear something breathing, that's my dog. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Okay, so this one, it gets darker and then lighter and then darker again, so we'll keep that theme up for this shadow. I think I kind of got on a tangent there with why I was doing that, because sometimes when you go lower, it does get lighter. Like when you see muscles, like where they connect, And in some like I was noticing this in like some bodybuilder shoots, like they would not there, like where the muscles connect, like that's where it was like the lightest, so everything else would be kind of tanned around it, or darker around it, and then like where they connected it was light. But I think that's more like when there's a, you know, the flash is like right on them. So, but that's kind of goes to my point of like when you're when doing these, like just you kind of go with like what looks cool. And I think if you have a little bit of a plan, you could no, I'll keep that line there. Yeah, you could just kind of stick to it, and hopefully everyone buys what you're drawing. Like buys as in like they're not taken out of the story. All right, here's another kind of a bigger muscle. Don't really need to get too detailed on this. Yeah, so that part would be mostly shadow, I believe. Also, since this part is protruding up, it would, just like this part, you know, it protrudes out, the bicep. The middle part would be the most not detailed, not rendered. So I guess I could render around it. But yeah, so this part of the forearm would also do the same thing. So you could like throw some rendering here, going towards the light, I think. Like I said, take all this with a grain of salt, because this is just me learning also. Now I could, yeah, I think I will, because this side's supposed to be like this side is supposed to be the more simple side, so I'll just do a what, not complex render there, just so 2 lines. I'll lighten up these parts a little bit more. I know I said I want to make it simple, but now that I'm looking at it, it's like, it doesn't look that simple. So this part's really dark. I should like kind of make this one catch up to that. I'll just go over the same lines again, a little bit darker. Oh yeah, and then of course the line weight for this part is farthest away from the light, so a little darker. Same thing with this part. And that part. And then the hand kind of pops back out, so I won't really do too much rendering on that. And then what are these things called again? Tendons or bones? Yeah, I think that these are bones. The metatarsals. That's a guess. Don't, if I might be wrong. All right, so that's it for that one for hatching. I guess I was starting the chest here. This is the because the chest, when you look from the side, you know, that muscle pops out. There's like the oh, I guess the nipple part was lower, is where I drew it. Okay, that's terrible. But you know, the light that's coming down, it would about right here is where this line is kind of supposed to represent. So again, just imagine like the bounce light coming back up, and then the rest of this would be much darker. Dale Keown did this really good. If you looked at the Pit comics, those were very informative if you were, I don't know, just kind of like studying them. All right, and then down here, I would just kind of pretend like this part, I don't know, I would kind of go down here, I guess, because this whole part should really be dark, I think. Or I mean, I don't know, I'll try it out. I don't know how many times I'll reiterate that this is just a lot of experimenting. Okay, so like this whole part is supposed to be blacked out, but you know, you get that bounce light coming up, so that's what that's supposed to represent. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that. Okay, and then these are striation, no, what the heck are these called? Serratus muscles? I forget. It'll probably come to me. But all right, so these are the abs right here. This is what this is supposed to be. I'll go ahead and kind of stick to this. Stick to the like Jim Lee kind of style of torso. Like he usually makes this part stand out, but I mean he makes it way bigger, of course. And then like down here, usually, not all the time, this is like the part that's kind of like sunken in, like if you're looking at it from the side. Oh, I guess I'll build off of the pec, I suppose. So this part is like right here under the pec, and then down here is the rib or the stomach. Then it kind of comes back out right here. So this part is representing that. And like I said, he doesn't do it all the time. But for this one, I'll do it that way. And let's see, might as well give him a full sixer. This is just like he's wearing the, wait, there we go. The spandex upper thing. Okay, so this part would catch the bounce light, and that's like right there. And it's also a little bit rounded, kind of like that. This is how I imagine it. So we could do it individually, one at a time, or just go through the whole thing, which would be a lot simpler. And then these guys kind of shouldn't have too much rendering, I don't think. I don't really like to, for myself anyway, I don't really like to make the six packs too, you know, like too built up striation, whatever you call it. I like to minimally render them. Of course, I don't know. It depends on who thinks it's rendered minimally, because someone might think like I'm overdoing it. All right, and then the I think it's serratus, like a serrated knife. You look at the serrated knife, it kind of looks like a bunch of U's or W's. All right, so kind of make them look like they're coming out. They're like circular, like that. I don't know if that helps anything, but okay, so they pop out, you know, like this is the bottom part, and then like another muscle kind of comes down here, connects to the these ab muscles. I guess, yeah, you don't have to do that. Like everyone always kind of does them differently. Like could just keep the rib cage here and really lower the lighting on that part of the muscle. And then, so if we're following that rib cage, then down here would be like, I don't know, slowly rendered out. I don't know if I like how that's looking. But yeah, then this part is a little bit rounded, so could do the, like trying to make a little bit of a curve with these lines to represent the gray. Okay, whoops. I feel like I'm making this side too complicated. I wanted this side to be like the least complicated. Even though you could see all these crazy wackadoodle lines I'm throwing on here. I don't really try to even do this much rendering. Every once in a while, I try to explore with all that stuff. But normally, like when I started learning to pay attention to drawing more, was I was getting into comics is when I discovered Michael Turner. And then it was when he was on his Superman, Batman run. When I seen that, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. First, you know, because he's just an amazing artist. And then two, because there was very little cross-hatching. All right, so for this side, I'm gonna do this, but you know, kind of single out the muscle groups. So go darker, then get lighter, like so. Yeah, so I seen Michael Turner's work and I was like, oh man, this is cool, because he's not doing much cross-hatching, and shadows really intimidated me. So I was like, thought I could just reproduce that. I mean, naively thought I could reproduce that. And then I noticed like right away, like Michael Turner was worlds beyond me. So, however, I did stick to the whole like, well, he just leaves it for the colorist. So Steigerwald had to do all the hard work, is what I said to myself. And then that's kind of like how I imagined I'd be making comics, is I'll just do the outlines, and that's way easier. And if at the most, I'll just do line weights. I'm a genius. But yeah, so I never really kind of experimented with shadows and hatching too much. And when I did, it always ended up being like this big mess. Not saying that I'm over that, because this will probably turn into a big mess as well. But yeah, okay. So this side is more just each little muscle group. Like if I was separating all, like, you know, there's like kind of like two heads in the bicep, I believe, and then the brachialis and the tricep. Like here, I try to kind of group it up a little bit like it's just one, like all three delt heads. I group it up like it's just one, even though it's more than that. But then this side, it's like, all right, yeah, let's just get complicated. Let's spend that extra time that slows everyone down doing these little I don't know. I think if you can do it right, it looks really exciting. You know, like obviously Jim Lee, Will Portasio, I think I said Dale Keown already, Mark Silvestri. You know, you look at their, specifically, I think, you know, talk about their 90s work, that yeah, they just made it look exciting and awesome and dynamic. I have to keep turning this. I'm not like I seen on David Finch's channel, the dude he says he prefers to turn the page, but when he's recording, he doesn't, just so it doesn't confuse everybody. And it was very impressive. I mean, the guy could like throw lines from this way to that way, which I'm not quite at that level. And I still mostly just use my wrist when I'm doing these lines. Like that's how, I'm not saying I'm Adam Hughes or anything, but that's how Adam Hughes does. He just goes from the wrist. It does help too, like if you could get your elbow going, and then you could do much like, you know, curved lines, and they look really nice for a longer distance. Anyway, I've been trying to utilize that more. And then I also heard like you could even go a step beyond the elbow and just go right from your shoulder. I don't know how you could do that. I'm not very good at that. I tried a few times. I guess you just, yeah, you go with what works for you. So try it, and if you like it, awesome. If not, it's like no big deal. Like I said, Adam Hughes, he still just goes from his wrist, and see how amazing that is. Okay, we're really gonna, and oh yeah, so I want to keep in mind still that, like, you know, this part pops out, so it'll catch more of the light. Same thing with this part of the forearm, like it pops out. and then down here, all of this as like a whole. Yeah, so I think I'll just kind of copy that side for that, and then I'll go in and kind of like individually get each muscle group. And the line weight, of course. Whenever I'm drawing, I really like to incorporate line weights in two different ways. This way that I'm doing now, kind of like on this side, I was line weighted. Or, so yeah, this way, or just, I'll do it on this side, like emphasize the whole. I got this from Adam Hughes, and he got it from Alphonse Mucha, I think. If not him, then it was someone from that era, where you just kind of outline the whole silhouette to make this thing pop, like in illustration style. So I like using both of those. And like I was saying earlier, it's like when you're doing shadows, I see it more as like how other professionals use shadow. I'm not saying professional, but how professional creating mood. That's what I'm trying to get at. I like to think of line weights, shadows as creating mood. That's where I was trying to go. Let's see, I guess I'll get the traps also, might as well. Down here is where the traps sink in, so then as it comes out, it'll be darker gray to lighter gray. And then down here below the guys at the bottom of the neck, right to the sternum collarbone area, it should sink in more, so it should be like more like dark shadow. And as it comes out, same thing, you know, make it gray. It's a little Adam's apple. This side is the more simpler side, so let's kind of do that. I like, this isn't an anatomy lesson or anything, but I like to, I don't like to draw the collarbone when it's right there. I like to just draw like, I know the collarbone is there in case you're wondering, but I don't draw that. I just like to draw this big, I try to make it look more muscular by doing that. Oh yeah, the individual. Oh, and I stole this from like how Michael Turner did his abs. You know, he showed it like cascading down into the, where it connects into the abdominal muscles. Oh, and also when I seen Michael Turner's work on the Batman Superman, that's the first time I've noticed Michael Turner's work And at that point in his career, yeah, he was doing mostly like the line, not so much hatching and cross hatching. I didn't know that he was like sick, so he just kind of like wanted to have a more of a quicker style, while also making his work look great, obviously. Because then I caught up to his older work, the Witchblade, Ballistic, Fathom, and all that, and like I was like, oh, okay, never mind. This guy does know a lot about shadow. No, it's like no wonder when I try to copy his work, I couldn't even, like, it was weird. I'd look at it and I'd be like, oh, this is simple enough, and I would try to copy it, and it's like, whoa, this is way much more complicated than what I don't know, when you're looking at it, I guess. Throw in a highlight here. I don't know if this will look cool. I was just trying. Okay, so oh, and then I'm just gonna do like 2 of these on each side. I forget I want to say these are called tendons or ligaments, these ones that go up into the neck. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know, hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, it'd be awesome if you left a like or a comment of what you learned, or if you can use this at all, or if you think I was too wordy, whatever. That'd be awesome. Thank you.